justice doesn't stand still. It bends, it twists, it delays, but it never freezes. Every week, in quiet courtrooms and crowded hearings, lives are reshaped by rulings, new evidence, and trial dates that creep closer. Some charges collapse, others harden. Families hold their breath. Defendants calculate chances. Tonight, Silent Veil brings you into 4 cases, each very different, but all turning points in America's pursuit of justice. A cheerleader accused of concealing a baby's death. A political activist gunned down in Utah. A young sailor dead, with a Navy cook charged. And a mass firebombing in Colorado, where families wait through another year of delay. This is not noise. This is not speculation. These are the facts, the filings, the rulings, and the stories of people caught in their shadow. This is Silent Veil. Kentucky, the case of Laken Snelling. Laken Snelling's name once floated across university cheerleading rosters. Now, it hangs inside Kentucky court filings. In July 2025, investigators discovered the body of a newborn infant hidden in Snelling's closet. The charges: abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and concealing the birth of a child. Notably, she has not been charged with homicide. Why? Because one question remains unanswered: was the baby born alive? That single detail divides everything. If the infant never breathed, the case is about concealment, panic, perhaps shame. If the child lived briefly, then prosecutors could seek homicide charges. The medical examiner's autopsy, reviewing lungs, tissue, and possible signs of life, will decide. Her preliminary hearing on September 26 will be the first test. At a preliminary, prosecutors don't prove guilt, they show probable cause. Enough for the case to advance. Judges rarely dismiss at this stage, but it can narrow charges. This case reaches beyond one woman. Communities debate whether the law punishes secrecy or protects infants. In America, concealed births have long raised controversy. Some states once prosecuted young women harshly, others created safe haven laws to allow anonymous surrender. Snelling's defense insists she is overwhelmed, not criminal. The prosecution paints concealment as intent. Both sides know the case may hinge less on law, more on sympathy and perception. The ethical reminder: Snelling remains innocent until proven guilty. The forensic question, stillborn or live birth, will decide if she faces moral condemnation or legal conviction. Utah, the shooting of Charlie Kirk. September 10, 2025. Utah police responded to gunfire outside the home of Charlie Kirk, a nationally recognized right-wing activist. Kirk was dead. The suspect, Tyler Robinson, age 33, arrested within days. The evidence so far is a story told through surveillance. Cameras placed Robinson's car near the scene. Witness statements, including testimony from Robinson's partner, filled in gaps. Police allege Robinson fired multiple rounds, targeting Kirk. The charge: aggravated murder. In Utah, that means prosecutors believe aggravating factors, planning, political motive, or cruelty, exist. The penalty can reach life without parole. But questions remain. Prosecutors haven't publicly shared motive. Was this politically driven? Personal? Random? Defense attorneys seize on that silence. They argue proximity is not proof. Surveillance may show Robinson's car, but not his intent. The next step: prosecutors must file formal charges. That filing will outline evidence and shape trial strategy. Defense will likely challenge surveillance interpretation, argue contamination of witness testimony, and attack credibility of Robinson's partner. The public has already divided. Kirk's supporters frame it as ideological violence. Critics warn against politicizing before evidence is tested. In court, politics cannot replace proof. Jurors will be told to weigh only facts. This case underscores the rise of surveillance in justice. Cameras don't blink. They don't forget. But they don't explain why. The jury, one day, will face a question: does footage of presence equal proof of murder? Until then, Robinson is accused, not convicted. Virginia, the death of sailor Angelina Resendiz. On May 29, 2025, sailor Angelina Resendiz was last seen alive. 10 days later, searchers found her body in wooded ground near her Navy base. Charged, 25-year-old Navy cook Jermiah Copeland. Prosecutors accuse him of premeditated murder, sexual assault, obstruction, and lying to investigators. The military justice system now takes over. On September 18, Copeland faces an Article 32 hearing. For civilians, this is like a preliminary, but it goes further. Defense attorneys can cross-examine witnesses, challenge government evidence, and present counterarguments long before trial. What prosecutors lack so far is clarity. The autopsy isn't finished. Cause of death remains undetermined. Without it, jurors may hesitate. Was she poisoned? Strangled? Injured? Forensic science will speak, but it hasn't yet. Why this case matters: military families expect safety within bases. A violent death among service members strikes trust. Prosecutors emphasize betrayal from within. Defense will argue uncertainty, gaps, and possible misinterpretation. If the case advances, it could lead to a full court-martial, with penalties ranging to life imprisonment. Forensic evidence, DNA, toxicology, digital traces, may decide. This case shows how military justice differs but parallels civilian law. Truth must be proved beyond doubt, whether in a uniform or not. Until autopsy results come, the case rests on shadows, not clarity. Colorado, the Boulder firebombing. In 2022, Boulder, Colorado witnessed horror. A firebombing attack killed 5 members of one family. Survivors carried burns and trauma. The accused, Mohamed Sabry Soliman, faces more than 180 state charges, multiple first-degree murders, arson, and child abuse. Federal prosecutors add hate crime and explosives charges. In September 2025, families expecting trial heard delays instead. A judge announced both state and federal proceedings would move into 2026. Why? Complexity. Hundreds of witnesses. Evidence across agencies. Legal strategy balancing state murder counts with federal hate crime statutes. Families express devastation. Every delay reopens grief. Prosecutors argue patience prevents mistakes that could cost conviction. On November 5, Soliman returns to state court for arraignment. Federal dates will follow. If convicted federally, life without parole is likely. Evidence includes accelerant traces, surveillance, and community testimony. Prosecutors will argue ideology fueled the attack. Defense attorneys may contest evidence chains, identity, or intent. This case reflects modern terrorism-style prosecutions. Trials demand not only evidence but stamina, from families, lawyers, and jurors who will face stories of children lost to fire. Justice delayed, yes. But prosecutors insist, not denied. 4 cases. 4 different corners of America. Each shaped not by headlines, but by hearings, rulings, and filings. A cheerleader whose fate hinges on a medical examiner's report. An activist gunned down, a suspect's car caught on tape. A sailor dead, a cook accused, cause of death unknown. A family firebombed, justice delayed until another year. These are crossroads, not conclusions. For families, they are nights of waiting. For defendants, they are battles of survival. For courts, they are tests of proof. This is Silent Veil. Subscribe for cinematic, ethical true crime every Tuesday and Friday. Because justice is not finished, it's still in motion.